What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another War Thunder video. Today we're taking out the Japanese J2M5. This is a 5.3 battle rating Japanese fighter. And as you can imagine, at 5.3 you're going to face a lot of Spitfires and Bearcats. I flew out this plane a number of times in realistic, and I have yet to face a Russian team. It's only American and British pilots. Not that I would stress too much about which nation I was facing. Actually, the American and British teams tend to be fairly good because of the quality of aircraft available at that tier. I didn't face a whole lot of bomber spam, B-17s, B-24s, that kind of thing. It was mostly fighters, actually. The J2M5 was introduced in 1.51, and with 1.53 just right around the corner, I wanted to get a video out. I was actually surprised that I hadn't covered this plane yet. And, well, the reason for that, it comes down to performance. When this plane was initially introduced, I was really excited about it. I was thinking, we get a new Japanese plane, that's awesome. And then you started reading about the plane, and then, of course, you fly it out and you think, well, this isn't so great after all. It's just not that good of a plane, to be honest with you. It's an okay plane. Let me leave it at that. What you have here is a problem with the type of a plane that the J2M5 is. It has a mechanically driven supercharger which allows it to perform very well at high altitudes. The problem is most combat doesn't happen at high altitudes, at least for the majority of the time. If Japan faced Germany in realistic battles, we wouldn't have such a big issue, but Japan and Germany never fight. Unless, of course, you get into one of those very, very rare mixed battles, and for me that happens less than 1% of the time, and it's usually at low tiers. It's usually at very low tiers, like tier 1 stuff, not tier 4. And so even upgraded, the J2M5 at what I would call normal combat altitudes within War Thunder will lag behind some of your counterparts. The J2M3 performs better than the J2M5 at normal altitudes. And in all of my testing, I was up-tiered every single time. Except for one match. One match, I wasn't the low man on the totem pole. It was a 5.0 A6M5. And that's it. The J2M5 is a 5.3. I had J2M3s, which were 5.3. I had J7W1s, which were 6.0. I had the two N1Ks, which were both 6.3. I had the Key 84 Otsu, which was 6.0. And the Key 84 High, which was 6.3. All of these planes perform better than the J2M5. Fully upgraded, nothing having an advantage. All the constant up-tiering with this plane has made flying the J2M5 a little bit on the frustrating side. I did all of my grinding in arcade because it's so much easier in arcade to do all the grinding. It's a lot faster. Frankly, given the challenges that I experienced competing with my own teammates for kills with a fully upgraded plane, I can't imagine the kind of frustration a stock J2M5 aircraft is going to have. That's something I would not recommend trying realistic with a stock J2M5. It's going to be very frustrating, at least if you get constantly up tier like me. But maybe you'll be a little bit more lucky in the matchmaker lottery. Maybe you'll get down tier a little bit. I don't know. Matchmaker is very, very random. You just never know what you're gonna get. I actually had a difficult time getting some good footage for you guys, but that Spitfire made it pretty easy to get in. One of the goals that I have in War Thunder is to get all the planes that are available to the public, get them fully upgraded, spade them, get all the upgrades. And it's something I would recommend other people to try. It's an interesting thing to try to challenge yourself to do this. I've gotten a good portion through the planes, but this is one of those planes that I have to admit it's going to be challenging for some people. It's going to try your patience. Now, if you're not one of those completists who has no interest in spading every plane like myself, and that's fine, I would actually recommend that you skip this plane altogether. If you have to research it in order to get to planes that are later in the tech tree, I understand. Go ahead and do that. But as far as spading this plane, I don't think you're going to miss anything. I would actually recommend sticking with the J2M3. It's actually a very, very good plane. It's an energy fighter, it's a boom and zoomer. It has 4 cannons. It's very dangerous. It's a terrific plane. And best of all, you're going to be able to compete with everything that you face. You'll be able to climb really well. You'll be able to dive really well. It even turns fairly well for an energy fighter. You know, it's not going to outturn a Spitfire, but it's going to do pretty well. In the second match that you're watching, I choke on almost every opportunity that I had. That first engagement with the Tiger Cat, the F7, F1, I just got enough critical damage in order to get the kill. But in my opinion, I barely grazed it. The second engagement with the Bearcat, I didn't lead enough yet again, and I choked. That's 2 engagements that I basically choked. I shouldn't have gotten that 1 kill, in my opinion. I think I got fairly lucky. Sometimes War Thunder can be generous to you, sometimes not so much. Here I'm trying to get guns on target with an LF Mark 9. That's not going to happen. LF Mark 9 will outturn this thing all day long. But as long as I can keep pressure on him, it'll keep him turning, it'll slow his speed down, and make it easier for my teammates to get him. Even if I can't get him, as long as my teammates get him, that's all good in my book. Having something like the N1K in here, it really helps things out. And of course, Rice Eater, he's someone that I recognize from Reddit. He's a pretty good pilot for the Japanese. He knows what he's doing. Rice Eater was probably licking his chops when he saw what the War Thunder matchmaker had given him in this match. You know, Spitfires and Bearcats are a hell of a lot easier to deal with than P-80s and early jets. And yet, in almost every one of my matches that I flew with the J2M5, there was at least one N1K. However, whenever I take out the N1K, all I get is jets. I never see a prop. And if there is one prop, it's like one Tempest Mark II. That's it. But that's the matchmaker for you. It's very random. You never know what you're going to get. But getting back to what I was saying earlier about not being able to get not much footage for you, I'm actually going to wrap it up right here. The J2M5 just doesn't get the high altitude fights that you really need in order to fully take advantage of this aircraft. If it fought Germany, you know, if Japan fought Germany, then I could see using this plane, because you're going to face Focke-Wulfs and 109s at high altitude. Instead, we get Allied teams which top out at about 5.5 kilometers, and that just isn't high enough for the J2M5 to really perform and separate itself from the competition. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this short little overview of the J2M5. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button, and of course, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Take care, guys.